I still laugh about it sometimes how I ended up public enemy number one in my own town for saving lives. That's not a punchline, that's the real story. They fined me for unauthorized tire damage, which translation I left snowplow tracks trying to keep the only road out of here from swallowing the whole damn town. Guess that's what you get for sticking your neck out. This is Grand Hollow Ridge, Wyoming. One road in, one road out. And me, Dale Mercer, the retired fraud investigator. Apparently the last sucker with a conscience left. Or maybe just the only guy with an old enough plow to make a dent in the blizzards that hit us every winter. But here's the thing. For years I plowed that road. Nobody asked. Nobody paid. I did it because I knew what could happen out here. If someone's wife went into labor, if a chimney caught fire, the county wasn't coming, never had. So every time it snowed, I'd drag my old rust bucket plow. Maggie through those drifts chains, clattering breath, steaming. Never wanted thanks. Sure as hell didn't want what came next. The day it all started, I'd just gotten back from a 5 a.m. run. Kicked off my boots, still half frozen coffee, just lukewarm enough to make you question your life choices. And there it was, bright orange, slapped on my front door, crooked, and half soaked from the snow melt. Violation 14C. Unauthorized tire damage, $430 fine, no thank you, no handshake, just a ticket. And the way the wind cut through the pines that morning, I swear it sounded like it was laughing at me. You ever have one of those moments where the world tells you, in no uncertain terms, you're done here? That was mine. So I stood there staring across the street at the HOA headquarters, beige, lifeless little red security camera, blinking like it was winking at me. Felt like the universe was daring me to make the next move. Now, I'd seen a lot in my life. Used to be a state fraud investigator back in Colorado. Public Works contract compliance. Sent more than a few snakes to jail for less than I suspected was going on right here in Grand Hollow Ridge. But this was new. This was home. And apparently home didn't want me, at least not if I kept interfering with their precious natural snow state policy. So I did what any stubborn old man would do: nothing. Sat on my hands, watched the snow pile up. Let the official contractor that phantomed the board kept boasting about handle things. Let's see how far that went. Spoiler, not far. By midday, tires were spinning up near Marshall's old gate. By dusk, you couldn't tell if you were looking at a mailbox or a snowdrift or maybe the last hope of getting out alive. My plow, Maggie stayed cold. I didn't touch her. But the calls, they started right away. Eric down the hill panicked about his pregnant wife's appointment. Marcy, 2 doors over her mother on oxygen. All I could say was sorry. I got fined. It's the HOA's road now. That silence, it started to build thick as the snow out there. The board wasn't backing down. Cheryl Mantle, the secretary, doubled down. Another notice this time, a cease and desist complete with grainy drone footage of my old truck endangering the community by, plowing the snow. I printed that out and tucked it away. Exhibit A, I thought, just in case. And then on day 3, the real contractor finally showed. Young guy rental pickup makeshift plow. Made it all of 100 feet before he gave up and slunk away. HOA sends out another message. Stay indoors. Safety first, the usual empty words. By then, everyone knew safety was just something they talked about in board meetings, not something they actually cared about. It wasn't until day 4 that things got dangerous. Marcy's mom, 83, frail, started coughing up blood. Ambulance tried, bless him, but bottomed out halfway up the hill, had to be hauled back by a rancher with a tow hitch. That's when neighbors stopped whispering and started calling, some angry, some scared, all wanting to know why I wasn't helping. And I told them I got fined, I got threatened, I was ordered to stop. This was principle, not pettiness. If you let people like Cheryl hold all the power, one day they'll use it as a weapon. Today, it's tire tracks. Tomorrow, it's your house. You'd think at some point they'd blink, call me, apologize, ask me to plow. But you'd be wrong. Instead, they doubled down, more threats, more fines, all while the snow kept falling. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the quiet fury of watching your town get buried while the folks in charge are too busy policing the natural snow aesthetic to save their own skins. But here's the twist, because every good story's got one. While the HOA was busy painting me as a rogue actor, I started doing what I do best: old habits. You know, I pulled out my yellow legal pad, started mapping connections, pulled up the budget reports, the contracts, the maintenance invoices that didn't quite add up. Grand Hollow Ridge was shelling out almost triple what any legit plow outfit would charge for less than half the service. And every check was signed by Cheryl. Funny thing about fraud, it hides best in plain sight. If you act confident enough, no one looks too hard. But they'd forgotten who I was, what I'd spent my life doing. I knew what forged contracts and shell companies looked like before I could drive. Day 6. Cheryl herself showed up in her pink wool coat and Pearl's clipboard in hand, not brave enough to even knock, just circling my plow, taking pictures. She thought she was building a case. But I had one already, timestamps, emails, snow still falling. By day 7, the road was gone. The whole canyon looked like a glacier, white and silent, and absolutely unforgiving. Neighbors who'd once scoffed started calling scared. The pressure built until the sirens came wailing through the storm ambulance, lights flickering and fading, stuck halfway up the main grade, going nowhere fast. Jason Henderson, diabetic, collapsed at breakfast. Paramedics needed rescuing themselves. That's when I went from angry to terrified. I dug up the HOA's original charter, the one nobody reads except fools like me. And there it was, buried in legalese: in case of emergency, if contractors can't get through the board, must defer to anyone able to help. That made Cheryl's cease and desist nothing but hot air. I photographed that clause, paired it with the image of the ambulance stuck in a snowdrift, and emailed it to every resident. Subject: you have rights. She's violating them. It worked. The phone started ringing, people demanding answers. Some wanted Cheryl gone. But first, we had to save a life. I cranked up Maggie, fought through 5 hours of snow and ice, and carved a road back to civilization. The ambulance made it. Jason lived. But I knew what was coming. Cheryl would try to spin it. So I hit first, called the county, called the fire district, called the state board for nonprofit accountability. If I was going to plow, I was going to bulldoze her whole racket. But you know what? Maggie couldn't hold out forever. The storms kept coming. Pipes froze, fires started. Still, no word from the contractor, no help from the board. When the temperature hit -20 and the HOA's only advice was to stay indoors, I took it to the local paper, the Bridger Sentinel. Carla, an old contact, dug into the paperwork, followed the money. "This smells like contractor fraud and negligent endangerment," she said. "Maybe worse." Damn right. And then the story got personal. My niece Becca, stubborn as they come, tried to drive in from Jackson. Slid off the embankment, trapped shivering car, dead phone, dying. When I finally got to her, pulled her out of that snowbank, I realized this wasn't just about money or power. This was about who gets rescued and who gets left behind when bureaucracy replaces common sense. That night, I went full investigator, pulled up public records, traced business filings. Guess who owned the shell company with the snow contract? Cheryl's cousin, Todd Mantle. One client, Grand Hollow Ridge. Payments matched, signatures matched. I had it all: conflict of interest, fraud, theft. Still, I watched. Cameras I'd set up years before caught Cheryl and Todd sneaking around the HOA office at 2 a.m., moving boxes, signing forms, unloading busted junk as equipment. Classic scam, log fake, maintenance pocket, the cash. I called Clarence, an old prosecutor buddy, asked him how hard it'd be to trigger an audit. Not hard with evidence. We built the packet together. Affidavit surveillance paper trails, the whole 9 yards. And then second twist, the fraud went deeper. Todd had a second shell company serving another HOA run by Cheryl's sister. RICO-style bleeding dues through family contracts, all hidden behind bogus invoices and P.O. boxes. That's when I knew this wasn't just about Grand Hollow Ridge. This was their playbook everywhere. When Becca, working at the county auditor's office, confirmed they had enough for probable cause, embezzlement, maybe mail fraud, I leaned back and just let that sink in. Karma's got a way of catching up. And sometimes it drives a plow. So I pushed it public. Posted on the HOA forum, asked why JS Infrastructure got paid $14,900 for work never done. Neighbors exploded. The board fractured, 2 members resigned, one cried on Zoom, the other just stammered. Cheryl tried to run literally packing up files and driving away at dawn, but my cameras caught that too. The audit confirmed it all, $71,000 gone. Fake. Companies no receipts, all funneling back to Todd and Cheryl. County froze their accounts, forced financial disclosures. Cheryl resigned quietly. No apology, just disappeared. The judge read the charges: breach of fiduciary duty, unjust enrichment, willful deception. Money ordered, returned, assets seized, 10-year ban from HOA boards in the whole state. And the community, my neighbors, once silent, took the reins. 7 new committee members, open books, public votes. I helped write the bylaws: no more closed-door deals, no more family contracts, no more fines without proof. And you know what? That wasn't the best part. The best part was watching a room packed full neighbors, wrapped in scarves, boots, dripping voices finally rising, demanding truth. Marcy spoke about her mom. Eric admitted he'd doubted me, but now he saw the fraud. Even the kids called me the snow guy. I just smiled and said, we all did this together. In the end, Cheryl and Todd settled, paid it back. Apology letters, banned from service. I heard Todd move to Idaho. Don't wish them harm, wish them awareness. Let them remember every day all it took was a plow and a paper trail. What do I take from all this? Here's what I learned, what hit me hardest. Maybe too late for some. Silence is the enemy. Not snow, not storms, not even crooks like Cheryl. Silence, because when decent people stop talking, when we let the loudest or most powerful make all the rules, that's when a tire track gets called a crime and theft gets called community service. Truth. It can't be buried, not forever. Not even under 6 feet of Wyoming snow. Spring came late that year. The melt was slow, messy, hope always is. But it came. We rebuilt, made transparency. The rule started annual audits. I put together a toolkit for other towns, templates, guides, warnings, shared it for free. Sunlight's meant to be shared, not hoarded. So what's justice really? It's not just seeing the bad guys fall. It's watching people stand up, quiet ones, stubborn ones, even the ones who once doubted you, and realizing you don't have to carry the weight alone. Now, when I take Maggie out after the first big snow, it's not to save anyone. It's just to enjoy the quiet. But I know the road I'm carving isn't just through snow. It's through all the silence, all the secrets, all the old fear. That's the line we all crossed here. From powerless to powerful. From silence to truth. But I've got to ask, what would you have done? If your community, your family, your safety depended on standing up to the ones in charge, where's the line between neighbor and enemy? Between doing your part and doing what's right? Is there such a thing as too much justice or not enough? Go on, tell me. Share your story. Speak your truth. Because justice isn't just about getting even. It's about making sure no one ever has to fight alone again.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.